good evening. There's been a lot of talk about a television revolution, hours of it on television. But one vital ingredient has been missing: you, the viewer. So what we want to know is, what do you think? In this special late-night series of Open Air this week, we are asking you at home, all over the United Kingdom, to join us with your questions and to put them live to viewers in Europe. They have lived through a television revolution and can tell us first-hand whether it is for better or worse. At the end of the week, we'll have a live viewers audience in our studio, quizzing the men, and they are all men, who'll be shaping our television future. If you have a question or comment about what this revolution will mean to you, call me on 061 814 0424. That's 061 814 0424. The lines are open now. And joining me tonight is Ray Snoddy, media correspondent of the Financial Times. Ray, the government white paper on the future of television was published earlier this month. Robert Maxwell, Rupert Murdoch, Richard Branson and British Satellite Broadcast all seem to have plans, and the government has plans. How much of the television future is definite and how much is still just speculative?
Well, Mavis, it's a long story, but I'll try to be as short as I can. As long as rockets don't explode and satellites work properly, the shape of the coming broadcasting revolution is now pretty clear. At least 12 new English-language television channels are on their way next year. National newspaper proprietor Mr. Rupert Murdoch plans to launch no less than 5 on the Astra satellite on February the 1st. There's Sky, the general entertainment channel, and Sky News, a 24-hours-a-day news service. And Mickey Mouse is in on the action too. In a joint venture with the Disney organization of the US, Mr. Murdoch will offer 2 channels, Sky Movies and the Disney Channel, as a subscription package for £12 a month, although they'll be free until August. Originally, the film channel was supposed to be free to the viewer, but the Hollywood studios didn't like the idea of anyone being able to watch their films for nothing all over Europe. The last Murdoch channel, Eurosport, is a joint venture with about a dozen of Europe's public service broadcasters, including the BBC. It will be free to start with, but could become a subscription package within 2 years. Then also on Astra, there will be 2 channels from W.H. Smith Television, Screen Sport and Lifestyle, a daytime channel aimed mainly at women. And Robert Maxwell told us earlier this evening that he too intends to launch 2 channels on Astra, MTV, the pop music channel, and a European news and data channel. Then in August, Astra's rival, BSB, British Satellite Broadcasting, launches its satellite. BSB, backed by a consortium including Granada, Anglia TV and Virgin, plans to launch 3 services from next autumn. There'll be a topical news and current affairs and a sports channel called Now, a general entertainment channel called Galaxy, and, you've guessed it, a subscription movie channel called Screen. There are further plans for 3 new television satellites over Europe by 1991 or 1992, which could broadcast another 50 channels. Neither Sky nor BSB, each planning to spend hundreds of millions of pounds, expect to make much money until well into the early 1990s. By then, the government's policies will have begun to affect the ITV companies. The current franchises run out in 1992, and the White Paper on Broadcasting proposes that the next round of franchises should be awarded to the highest bidder after a basic quality test. There will have to be regional programs, a full news service, and a variety of programs on Channel 3, as ITV is to be called. But critics say there's little to guarantee standards compared to those of today. The picture is further complicated by the government's plans for a 5th terrestrial channel, and possibly even a 6th, although that's more doubtful. Then there could be a host of local television channels all over the country using cable or microwave technology. Channel 4 will have to find its own advertising in competition with all its rivals, instead of having ITV sell its airtime for it, and somehow still keep its present programme remit. So the timetable looks like this. First in the market next year will be Sky Television and W.H. Smith, with a total of 7 channels between them. Next will be BSB in the autumn, and as I said earlier, we now know that Robert Maxwell will also go on Astra with 2 channels. Good old-fashioned terrestrial broadcasting looks like this. In 1992, ITV franchises are up for sale, and the next year a commercial 5th channel will start. After 1993, there may be a 6th terrestrial channel. In 1996, the BBC's Royal Charter expires, and with it there's the possibility of the licence fee being replaced by subscription.
Ray, no offence, clear as mud to me. I mean, it is confusing, isn't it?
Well, but maybe with the help of the viewers, we might, this very evening, try and sort things out a bit.
Righto. Now, the very first live phone call we've got from Tricia Spitoni in Glasgow. Tricia?
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good evening.
Are you as confused as me?
Very. Very.
Would you like to put a message to Ray here? To
I'd
see if
like
he...
to, yes, please. I find it's still unclear which system would suit me best, and feel that I probably need all three, both the small dishes and the large dish now available. Will they all come together at some point, or will we all need three systems?
Well, Tricia, for the moment, I'm afraid you're going to have to think about all three systems, which is not really practical, in fact, because it's rather expensive. If you buy an Astra satellite dish and a BSB dish and pay for it to be fitted, you're probably talking about £700 altogether. And then when you add on the cost of subscribing to all these channels, you're probably looking at about £400 a year on top of that. So to begin with, I think you probably have to choose which of the two main systems, Astra or BSB, you want. I believe within a few years, the electronics people will get together and they'll put the microchips inside your television set, and there will be one dish that will steer beautifully and noiselessly between these satellites in the heavens. But I think that's practically a year or two off yet.
Tricia, do you think that you are determined to go ahead and buy a dish, or you're going to watch tomorrow's and Wednesdays and Thursdays programs when we go to Germany and France and Italy and find out whether they are good enough?
I need a lot more information before I can make any decision. I actually am not very keen on the filtered style, the signals that will be beamed up from London. I hear that the larger dish is more flexible. You're receiving more from Europe, which interests me quite a bit.
So will you be cautious and wait then, by the sound of you?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've waited till now,
Yeah.
hoping for something smaller and less obtrusive on my roof.
That's
but,
right. Yeah. Well,
I still feel nothing's too clear.
yeah, thank you very much for calling, Tricia.
Thank you.
Goodbye. What has made all this happen? It's not as if viewers have been up in arms demanding extra television. It's the manufacturers of television hardware looking for new ways to make money now we've all bought our videos. Bluntly put, but Ray, is that right?
Well, Mavis, there's nothing new about industry forcing the pace in broadcasting. In fact, broadcasting as we know it was more or less invented to create a market for radio sets. Until the creation of the British Broadcasting Company in 1922, the main buyers of radios were the government and the armed forces, and there were few programs. Radio frequencies were considered too important for anything so frivolous as entertainment. Military pressure, following a radio concert by the singer Dame Nellie Melba in 1920, even led to broadcasting being banned entirely for a time. Every development of broadcasting has since been marked by a combination of powerful industrial drive and a kind of moral panic. Both the consumer electronics industry and retailers are looking for a new product. Colour television sets probably reached a peak in 1978, although the spread of second sets continues. Now that more than half the population have video recorders, sales are starting to slacken. So satellite dishes could create new sales and new jobs. The moral panic about broadcasting has been every bit as intense in its own way as the commercial imperative. The former head of the BBC, Lord Reith, compared the launch of ITV in 1955 to a combination of smallpox, bubonic plague and the Black Death. And the Archbishop of Canterbury is only marginally less worried.
There is no great desire for it, and we shall be no worse off without it, and probably a good deal better off. I trust that it will become evident to the government that the whole matter is better left alone.
Well, I couldn't help noticing this report last week. The Church of England's chief broadcasting officer claimed yesterday that government plans for broadcasting will vandalise ITV, hand over power to advertisers and threaten children's and religious programmes. The truth is, you probably can have the greater choice and competition the government wants, but only, I believe, if you don't deliberately undermine the financial structure of the existing channels. Broadcasting revolutions may come and go, but good programs will continue to cost a great deal of money.
Things haven't changed much, have they? We're all pretty used to commercials on television by now, but when they started, they were seen as a frightful vulgarization of television and as something which would have a disastrous effect on our national culture or character, or, well, just have a disastrous effect. This was the first of the new threats.
It's tingling fresh. It's fresh as ice. It's Gibbs SR toothpaste. The tingling fresh toothpaste that does your gums good too. The tingle you get when you brush with SR is much more than a nice taste. It's a tingle of health. It tells you something very important.
Well, that was the threat in 1955. I remember it well. In 1989, the question will be whether you, the viewers, will buy satellite dishes. All the efforts of all the new satellite channel owners will amount to nothing if you don't get yourself kitted out with the right equipment. And here's how not to go about getting it.
I am now in the garden. Where are you?
Repeat, where are you?
We are in...
Hold up, love. Press that, then speak.
Oh, sorry.
I repeat, where are you?
We are in Spain.
Spain to Switzerland.
Hang on, we're just looking at the map. Go northeast.
No, I'd say more you're north-north-east by north.
George says north-northeast by north, whatever that means.
I'll go and show him.
Oh, would you? He gets lost going from here to Cheam.
Well, it could be like that, but it doesn't have to be, as long as you let a professional install your dish. And these are the dishes you may want. To pick up Rupert Murdoch's Sky Channel, you'll need a 60-centimetre dish outside and a tuner inside to select channels. This is an Astra dish, and it'll cost you about £250, including the tuner. It'll cost another, but including the tuner, it'll cost another £65 to install. If you take Sky's movie channel, you will also get a Disney channel. They will become subscription channels in the summer, costing £12 per month for the package. These channels will be scrambled, so in order to view them, you will have to buy a decoder, which will cost another £50. But the bad news is, if you live in Scotland, you'll need a bigger 75-centimetre dish, and it'll cost you an extra £60. British Satellite Broadcasting are going to use a new type of signal called DMAC. British sets currently use the PAL standard. BSB say the DMAC system will give better quality pictures and digital stereo sound. What you will need is a 30-centimetre dish, or squarial, like this one, a brilliant new word. You'll also need a decoder like this. Together they'll cost £250 to buy and around £65 to install, though installation costs could vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. Let me explain that this squarial is a model. It hasn't been manufactured yet, but when it's produced it will in theory be more sensitive. If you have the dish and its gadget, you'll be able to receive BSB's Now and Galaxy channels. Their movie channel will have free matinee films in the afternoon and will switch to subscription in the evening for more recent films. In the evening, the signal will be scrambled and will cost £10 a month. The subscription control, which prevents you watching if you haven't paid, will operate automatically. For special events, there may be a special extra pay-to-view arrangement using what's been christened a smart card, probably rather like a phone card. And if you really want to get all these channels, you'll have to have 2 dishes. I hope you're getting the picture. That's the hardware. The software is the programs, and this is a glimpse of what is available on free satellite channels.
Then the stewardess actually explains how to operate the seatbelt when you fly, right? I mean, this is an ordinary car seatbelt. If you can't figure this out on your own, don't even listen to the part about the oxygen mask. You're a dead person.
Une habitante de Manchester a fait bouillir son poisson rouge en essayant de régler le thermostat de l'aquarium.
Cette mère de famille anglaise est tellement chargée d'électricité statique qu'elle fait sauter tous les appareils qu'elle touche. Elle a déjà cassé 25 fers à repasser, 15 bouilloires, des douzaines de télévisions, radios ou magnétoscopes et des centaines d'ampoules.
I say, my leg's showing on TV. I can't have that at all.
Is your hair on it? Yes, you're still wearing your hair on your legs.
Yes,
That's
well...
out for years, man.
Is it?
Yeah, you don't wear hair on your legs anymore.
But I find it so painful waxing them. It's really painful, isn't it?
Well, you just have to stand close to the open fire. It goes by itself.
Reifen mit Spikes sind lange verboten. Doch es gibt Abhilfe. Die Firma Ruth hat diese Spike-Gürtel entwickelt. Die Montage ist wirklich leicht. Einfach über den Reifenstreifen 5 elastische Spanner in die Felgenlöcher einhängen. Fertig.
Now we've got the most brilliant songs on the way. You really must hang on. It's exactly 1 month till Christmas. That's why my wall of fame is empty. Just empty blocks. But we're going to fill it up with your pictures. We've got bundles of them here, and they'll all be going on this wall of fame sometime in this show. This is my little wall of famer. It's fire staples, and they pin them onto the wall. So we're going to have some fun with that in the show.
A wild deer in Minnesota should be thankful to the citizens of Forest Lake. Residents there spent Thanksgiving rescuing the trapped animal. Cindy Hilger explains.
From shore, you really couldn't tell what was out in the middle of the lake. It could have been a log or a barrel until you heard this.
You know, we're looking forward to coming there. You know, people in Chicago have seen us many times in many different battles. But, you know, they come out here and talk about the Rock and Roll Express, what they're going to do to us. But you see, brother, you can't whoop where we been, because we've been there many times before. 4 times World Tag Team Champions. And we have to use you as a stepping stone, brother. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to prove to the whole world, like I said it many times before, we are the #1 tag team in the world. We are the best today. It's like solid gold rock and roll, baby. And it is here to stay. The Rock and Roll Express. Remember that, Chicago. You said it before, and you're going to see 2 big old mountains go falling down.
Well, because Open Air is about viewers' opinions, we're also running a phone poll to find out whether you'd be prepared to buy the equipment you need to receive direct broadcasts. If you think you'll buy or rent the equipment, you can phone your yes vote on 0898 991181. If you think it wouldn't be worth it, you can phone your no vote on 0898 991182. The calls will only cost you 5 pence, and I'll be repeating the numbers later in the programme. At the end of the week, when you've spoken to and heard from viewers all over Europe, we'll be giving out the final result. Those lines will be open all week. And now we've tracked down some viewers who already have cable or satellite television to see what they think of multi-channel television so far. If you want to question them or Ray Snoddy, phone now on 061 814 0424. Let me just contact you then, because I know that Brian Falls, you're in Perth. Well, you live in Perth, but you're in Glasgow, is that right?
That's correct, Mavis.
Hello there. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
And you're the proud owner of Satellite.
That's correct. I've got a satellite dish, and I've also got cable TV, which I get from the local cable company in Perth.
Mm. There can't be many of you with them up there, is that right or not?
In Perth, I know of 5 satellite dishes.
Yeah.
One belongs to the Perth Technical College. There's a couple of hotels and a public house, and one other person that has a satellite dish, and of course myself.
Yeah. You're a social worker, why did you buy it so soon?
I've had the satellite dish for just over a year, well, nearly 18 months now, and I work a shift system, so when I'm off duty, and I like to go home to Perth and put my feet up away from it all.
Yeah.
I've got a choice of 30 channels at the moment, and that suits me fine.
Yeah. Is it value for money, do you think?
At the moment, no, because I can't understand a lot of the foreign languages.
Yeah.
But I...
Are you going to learn them?
I'm slowly picking it up at the moment. The Italian and French and Spanish TVs, because I've been in holidays in these countries, I can pick up some of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of English programs come across from the European satellites, and they're quite easy to understand, obviously.
Yeah. We'll be back to you shortly. Drew Lawson now in London. Drew,
hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Are you a gadget man that you got cable right away?
Yes, I got cable about 6 months ago. I like TV. I like the options you get from having cable.
Mm. I mean, why did you rush to get it, so to speak? I mean, are you extravagant? Are you wanting things, or are you just a television, you know, addict?
I like watching movies a lot.
Yeah.
I subscribe to Westminster Cable, and they have a channel called Premiere, which is nothing but movies. And I enjoy that. Plus they have MTV, which is music, which I like, and sports channels as well, which are very good.
Do you watch it more now, because you've got more choice?
Initially, when I got it, I overdosed on it, but but now I find it more selective, and in fact, I think I watch less than before. Although I still watch the 4 British channels.
I was just going to say, do you go for the old timers, BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and Channel 4, or are you off to new wonders?
Well, I watch them, but I'm much more selective about them now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I just don't watch now that I used to watch.
We'll be back to you shortly. Now then, Samantha Tyler, you're in Bristol. Hello, Samantha.
Hello.
And you are what, 15 or so?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah. So, did you coax your parents to make them get cable?
Well, the person called round, and I was there. It was one
Yeah.
evening, and I think it was me and my brother that persuaded them. They were sort of women and ahhing about it, but I thought, you know, I really wanted the pop MTV, but we haven't got that. We've just got Premiere, Super, and Sky at the moment, but trying to twist their arm to get MTV.
You know, you mentioned your brother. Do you squabble more with him now that you've got more choice, because you both want, you know, different things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, more so than before, or not, do you think?
Yeah, more so, because before it was only like BBC One, 2, ITV and Channel 4, but now he wants the sport, I want Sky. There's a lot of arguments about it.
Why do you like Sky so much?
When I get home from school, 4 till 5, there's usually music on their chart show. It's usually that I enjoy the most.
Do your parents watch as well?
Yeah, my dad watched Premiere films. My mum's sometimes she watches Premiere, but not very often. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on then, Samantha, because we've got some phone calls coming through. Paul Lydon from Wokingham.
Hello.
Hi. What do you...
Well, the main thing is that I'm concerned with, I fly for a living, and I see a great deal of European television, and I think that the quality in Europe is terribly poor. I consider that the British television worldwide is best.
Yeah.
My main concern is the advertising, I think. I mean, in Europe, it's fast becoming like America, where you're absolutely bombarded with advertising constantly. And at the end of, you know, you'll get advertising at the beginning of the program. They will blatantly cut in. There's no end of part 1 or anything like that. And you lose the programs completely. And they're of very poor quality generally. I mean, they have a great deal of, you know, old American detective stories. They have old comedy, again, American comedy programs, and, you know, such like. I think the quality is very, very poor.
Shall I put that to Brian for you? Because let's see, since he's experiencing it, whether he agrees with you or not. Brian?
Yes, well, I do agree with the comments there about the obvious interruptions from the advertising. It's again, it's a selective thing. If you happen to subscribe to the magazines that you can get, you can pick and choose the programs just as you can with Radio Times and TV Times. If you select ahead, there's no problem. You can get around a lot of the advertising.
How do you feel about the sponsorship of programs, though? I mean, some of the European programs, they have occasionally. I think there's one that's a sports program, runs about half an hour that I've seen. It's sponsored by a razor company, and they have, and all it is snippets of sports, you know, that run about 3 minutes each, 3 or 4 minutes each time. But at the end of each snippet, they guarantee that, you know, this was brought to you. You know, they advertise throughout it. I mean, do you think that I mean, that's supposed to be sponsorship, not really advertising? I mean, they call it sponsorship. There's nothing subtle about it. Do you think you're bombarded in that way?
Yes, I know the programme you mean. That's on the sports channel at the moment. Again, you can select, once you've seen the programmes and that, you can select the two obvious ones are the Italian TV and Spanish TV, RAI and TVE. They really hit you with the adverts, and the German TVs really come on heavy now with it.
Thank you very much. I've got another caller now. Thanks ever so much for ringing in. Can we hear from you, Tony Smith? Tony Smith.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello, good evening to you both.
Good evening.
What I'd like to know is, from a viewer's point of view, is it going to be worth us buying all this equipment for these programs? I know we're going to have a bigger selection, but are we going to get anything better than what we're getting now?
Well, let's ask Drew if he's experiencing it already. Drew?
Well, I don't have the satellite dishes and those things. I subscribe to cable, and they fit in a gadget which costs you nothing really, just other than the rental, just like a telephone does. So you're not actually burdening yourself with lots of gadgets and things. It's just something unobtrusive behind the sofa.
Right, I think Ray, you want to answer
well,
this.
Certainly people seem to be talking about existing channels that are available on existing satellites. These are mostly fairly low-cost programming. What we're talking about next year is certainly the investment of much, much more money behind these channels. And a lot of these channels are not French or German or Italian channels. They're channels being almost created for the British market. So I think you'll notice a difference. That is not to say, of course, that these people will have as much to spend as the BBC or ITV at the moment, but the quality should increase. And also the other point, of course, is that these channels, I don't believe, are meant to be a substitute for the 4 national channels. They're meant to give an additional choice for people, many of them here tonight, spoken already tonight, who want to watch a film anytime, and there's films on 24 hours a day.
Tony, there we are. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
And now it's Phyllis Brooks from Buckinghamshire.
Hello,
Phyllis.
Mavis.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
My question is, as a pensioner, I'm wondering what programs, if anything, will be left for people who can't afford all this new gadgetry, new technology, new dishes, new everything.
Good question, Phyllis.
I certainly can't afford it.
It's a very good question indeed. As we've already tried to explain this evening, all of this extra choice is going to cost more money. Now, mind you, there will be some channels which will be advertising financed. There will be 3 of these channels on Astra, but you still have to buy, there's no getting away from it. You actually need new receiving equipment. My main concern is that this extra choice that you pay for is all very well, but there ought to be really firm protection for our existing 4 channels, so that someone like you, a pensioner, suddenly doesn't find in a few years' time that they're having to pay a subscription to receive it, which is actually much more than the BBC licence fee at the moment.
Thank you very much for calling, Phyllis. Samantha, do you think you want more now, and even though it's expensive? And what about your friends? Have they got it as well?
I know one friend that's got it. She's got music channels, and I watch it down her house. But yeah, definitely, I definitely want the music channels.
Right.
And all of it.
Right. Thanks very much. Thank you, Ray, and thank all of you who called in. And the ones who have not been answered, please know that we will answer you all. Thank you very much. Remember, you can vote on whether you'd buy a dish. To vote yes, phone 0898 991181. To vote no, phone 8989 991182. Now, tomorrow we'll be going live to a studio in Munich. German public service television has been challenged by new satellite channels. Our guests in Germany come from public and commercial TV. You can speak directly to them and to German viewers. Don't worry, they speak English. Phone now if you want to ask them a question. So join us and join in on BBC One tomorrow night, right after Film 88. It's good night to you. Thanks for joining us.
For you no more.